Cowboy Jim here. Oh, you probably noticed I didn't get too dressed up yet. It's early. I just finished rewatching. I do that. I try to ascertain what is the difference in between a video that's just a video. I got it actually. And a video that is anointed by God. The video that is just a video is like a talking point. Ask Donald Trump what he thinks of those. A semblance of truth. If the truth in a talking point were dynamite or gunpowder more apt, it wouldn't blow much up. I sat out on my deck. I didn't fall off. I've never fallen off that deck. It's only 6 inches high. And I asked God, I said, well, what's the difference between a video that you can give me the words to say, I believe you give me the words to say to every video, and if not, I won't post it. I got through one last night. I was waxing quite eloquent, and I realized that when the door gate to the chute, when I nodded and they threw that thing open, that horse and I come out of that bucket chute, I guess. I was the only one in the saddle. My God, he stayed sitting on the top rail of the chute. I was doing pretty good, but what I was saying was empty. There's nothing there. You would not have known, because I looked just the same, just as bad as any other video that I put on Cowboy Cowboy Jim's channel, I guess it's called YouTube. I don't know. When I say I really mean I don't have a clue. But I know the difference, and here it is. I guess this is the best way of explaining it. When I have sat and delineated an experience-based message that God can take and enhance and multiply, not exaggerate. You have to exaggerate about your testimony with God, then you don't have a testimony. You don't have anything, nothing. But if you can humble yourself and pray and repent and turn from your wicked way, you have a chance of having everything. I don't mean wealth, and I don't mean money, and I don't mean a name it and claim it crap. Sure wouldn't have wanted to say that on the video. I have had the privilege of having some pretty good heifers. Boy, I rewatched my heifers last night. You want to have a good chuckle, children. You want to watch that thing. A true delineation of what it means to be a rancher, a farmer, a man, a woman who is trying their best to feed the world. You watch that one. You watch that one, children. Oh, you won't have tears in your eyes unless it's laughter. I rewatched the black-haired warrior woman, and I realized I never did explain to people why God and I wrote that. Well, we didn't really write it. I mean, we sure thought about it for an extended period of time, more than the 2 or 3 seconds that usually I spend in deep concentration. It doesn't amount to much at all. I and God, we were in cahoots on that one, children. I would say, Father, this is what I'd like to say. You'd say, oh, we're not doing that, son. We relived that video in my head. I didn't take a single note. There's a reason I couldn't make it through grade 9, grade 2, grade 10. Never learned how to study. Never needed to, I guess. Didn't seem like I really needed to pass. I could out-talk every teacher who was trying to teach me something. They got so tired of me they quit talking to me. I don't blame them. Black-haired warrior woman. I didn't write that for Christians. God and I didn't write that for Christians. God and I wrote that. That's a euphemism. I don't do notes. I just sit down here and try not to look too ugly. I try to reach down inside my chest and bring my heart out. Shove it up into my brain area, vacuous space, plenty of room. And I think, not from an intellectual standpoint, I'm not stupid. I think from a heart standpoint. And God and I did that black-haired warrior woman. I met that woman. Most beautiful woman I ever had the privilege and the honor of meeting. And I looked into her eyes because she stopped me as I was going across the room to get a coffee, and she got right in front of me. And she said, "You must be Cowboy Jim." I didn't look at her. I thought, woman, I'm no cowboy. Gravity and I, we don't get along at all. I fall off horses. And then I looked at that woman and I thought, dear God in heaven, that woman can call me anything she wants. I have never seen a woman so beautiful. I didn't say anything to her. She was quite content not to say anything really. I said, "May I?" And I I stepped my right foot a little closer to her, and I looked into her eyes. I have never seen such eyes. I had never seen such beauty. Not in my entire life. I thought I had known what being in love was. I've been married 3 times. Don't mean to irritate the women any more than I already did. But I did not know what love was until my Father, my God, through that little girl who called me Cowboy Jim, until we looked at each other. I was lost in the beauty of her eyes, her face. I was enraptured, inundated. I wondered what she looked like under her mask. Well, I wonder about something when you can ask someone to take the mask off. She did, I did. I've been around a while, too long really. I should have met that beautiful woman 30 years ago, but I didn't. I believe it is because God hadn't prepared me to mature a bit. Well, you might wonder, excuse me, whether I've matured at all. I have. Doesn't mean I'm a coward. Doesn't mean I have to prove. I'm going to stop right there and go right back to that woman's face. I've never seen such a face. I've never seen such a beauty. I fell in love with that woman right then, right there. I talked to her. Well, I was so ashamed that at 71 years of age, I'd fallen in love with a child. Hey, I got my Kleenex. It's not pretty good facsimile. I didn't speak to that woman again. It seemed like for about 6 weeks. I went and I got my coffee, and I headed back to my chair, and I heard that beautiful woman, the most beautiful woman in the world, and she said, "That Cowboy Jim, he sure knows how to talk to a woman." I couldn't even look at her. I hung my head. For the first time in my life, I was ashamed of being old. I don't feel old. You have no idea. I don't fear much. So my mother taught me, don't fear anything, but in everything trust God to take care of that which you can't. And she taught me how to fight, and she taught me why to fight. What a woman. What a mother. What an example. About 6 weeks went by. I asked the Lord, I said, kind of statement like, I said, I don't want to spend the rest of my life regretting not having told that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful woman how much I loved her. And so I said, God, I'm going to do it. I don't remember if he said go for it. He encourages me. I listen to him. He's my God. I kind of positioned myself over on the side of the big room, and I saw that woman coming in the door with a whole bunch of people, and I stepped forward and I met her, and she looked at me, and I said, would you allow me the privilege and the honor of speaking with you for a moment? And she said yes. And I was just looking into her eyes. I couldn't look any other where. Nowhere. No other place. I said, I want you to know that the day you called me Cowboy Jim, I lost something that day. And she kind of did a double take. And I don't think she said anything, but it was like she was wondering. And I said, I lost my heart. I said, I fell in love with you. I sure hope I've told this story in some other video, some other where here. I don't know, we have 60 or 70 videos now. No. Yeah, God and I haven't even hardly scratched the surface. That woman, she giggled. I had never heard a woman giggle. I never heard anything so beautiful, but then I'd never seen anyone so beautiful. And I said, I just want you to know this. I said, I won't mention this again. This is what I remember, but I could be wrong. Oh, dear Lord, I'm Irish. Can I be wrong? Well, course. And I said, I just want you to think about this. And God and I, we headed off in a different direction, and we left that most beautiful woman. I wished I could have seen, could have watched her as I walked away. I would want to have seen her expression. I heard her giggle, I think 3 times with the 3 different things that I said as I stood there. And I thought, I told her that I love her. I told her she is the most beautiful woman I ever met, and she is. There's no question. I spent some time with my father, and I complimented him on the work he had done in her creation. I mean, you have no idea. I think this was about a Thursday. We were working at the same place, same company. And come Monday or Tuesday, I saw her as I walked in. I saw her. She was hanging around the coffee pot, and I thought, the woman likes coffee. I know that. And I said, God, in my heart, my mind, my soul, my spirit, need some fresh, that. And I said, God, would you mind terribly if I were to ask that woman out on a date? And of course, I wouldn't have known what to do on a date. I haven't been on one. Last wife, we quit dating, I guess, when her son, her children, her whole blessed family moved back, and so I guess I don't know. Anyways, God said, sure, go ahead and ask her. He said, would you mind asking her a question for me first? I know I've told you this. I will never forget this. And I said, I'll be glad to. I said, what is it? He said, ask her to marry you. I was walking towards that most beautiful woman. I'm telling you, I never broke stride. I never missed a beat. I just said, well, I can do that. I walked over to her, and I'm telling you, I'm trying to remember, but I think she already took her mask off. We're not supposed to do that. I mean, COVID's going to kill us all, you know. Never seen such a beauty. I said, will you marry me? And she said, I've been thinking about that a lot. She said, we have a lot of age in between difference. And I thought, hindsight's pretty clear. I could have blown that one out of the water. Only would have taken me about 2 seconds. Irish people know how to talk. By their heart, with their heart. Most people get married nowadays. They don't marry for life. They marry for a temporary exoneration of a failure they are anticipating. That might take a year or 2 or 5, but they don't get married with the understanding and the intent that it's forever. Well, I've been married 3 times. I speak with some degree of authority on that. Tell you. I said to that little girl, I said, I just want you to think about it. I could have said, I was 71 at the time. I've said many times in these videos, I feel like a stud colt getting ready to entertain his first mare. Not really sure how things are going to work out, but knowing they're going to work out just fine. I irritate people because they don't understand how in the world can a man that old be that brave and or that stupid that he knows no fear. I don't. I just finished watching that video about the Palestinian taxi driver, and I watched how God had me pour my heart out, and I was shocked. I've watched that 3 or 4 times since I posted it. Chris Stapleton sings a song, and it has touched my heart, and it is about a man and a woman in love. God gave me a heart full of love for the black-haired warrior woman. It has not waned. It grows. Scripture teaches us to love the Lord our God with our whole heart, mind, soul, spirit, indicating that it's a choice. We can choose to love. We can choose not to. I chose to love that woman. We have not yet held hands. I have not yet kissed her. My father tells me that time's coming. I choose to believe him because I choose to believe in what, as a promise of hope, purpose, joy, love. I may get killed tomorrow. I kind of hope not. I met that beautiful woman 8 months ago. Well, 9 months ago, I wouldn't have cared if I was gotten killed or not. Wouldn't have mattered. I would have lived my life flat out to the full, honoring God as much as I could. Still being from Ireland, not fearing much anything. I chose. Not the first time I looked into her eyes. There was no choice. I had no choice. I was awash. I lost myself in her beauty. I didn't even notice she was an athlete. I'm sorry. Black-haired warrior woman, that's what I call her. Warrior woman. She's a survivor. Warrior woman, I didn't know you were a bodybuilder. I saw how you walked. Oh my. No one in this world walks like the warrior woman. Because that woman is nothing but muscle. I know that because she had some pictures on YouTube. I saw them. I thought, son, you don't have a hope in hell of ever living out the rest of your days with being in love with a woman who is that beautiful and built like that. I have spent my life not being afraid of much. A big bodybuilder down at the registry office, he said something. I said, I know a lady whose arms are bigger than yours. He had big arms, but hers are. And he said, she must scare you. I looked at him, I said, no, I was wrong. She does. She did. Only person in this earth who has scared me. Oh, I met some guys, I wouldn't turn my back on them. I wouldn't fight them unless I absolutely had to. They were mercenaries. They were killers. Joe is the deadness of the eye. That's what their eyes were like. But fear, another human, be scared of, can't say that anymore. That black-haired warrior woman scared me. I felt so inadequate. I hear my father and I know what he says. It's like, don't tell me you're not worthy when I made you worthy. So I have told my father, you gotta do something. Give me some courage somehow. I don't want to go to the grave loving someone as I do the black-haired warrior woman. Y'all better watch that video, the black-haired warrior woman. It's not written for Christians. If you spent 40 years in church, you're gonna be offended. Well, take it to God. He's a co-author. I'm the idiot that's probably taken too many testosterone for too long. I still do. I can take all the help that is made. I love you, warrior woman. Come home soon. You've never been here before. Pray about it. I started this video out while sitting on the deck in the rain. Actually, it's starting to snow up here in Fort Mac. I'm not really sure I'm ready for it. My old Dodge is. I was trying to ascertain the difference between a video that I can sit down and watch and a video that I sit down and watch and I cannot stop the tears. And the difference is a video that God has blessed and a video that God is really blessing. Both are blessed by God, or they wouldn't be on here. This YouTube channel is called Cowboy Jim. Well, that's thanks to the black-haired warrior woman whom I love. But am not the head guy. God is. And he knows that. And every now and again, he allows me to realize the veracity, the truth, that I am but an instrument of God to convey his message to you. He said, when I asked, I said, do you know where the pasture is? You want me to feed these sheep? And he said, it's right in front of you. This is the pasture. I'm not a pastor. I was called Rev for 30 odd years, but it was only because the non-Christian friends, or no, let's say not non-churched friends. That's better. Screw that non-church stuff. Or whatever. Non-Christian. It describes half the Christians that are in the world, maybe 90%. I know some real good Christians. My family members, they know who God is. They're not presumptuous. My mechanic friend lives in the south end of the city, named Gary. He's a Christian. I'm a believer in a creator. And my creator asked me to feed his sheep. I said I'd do that. I know more about feeding horses and cattle than I do about sheep. My ancestors are from Ireland. I'm going to wrap this up. Not every time can I divest myself of every ounce of strength, because you have to be builded up in between the battles. You need a rest in between the onslaught. I always knew, choose your battles wisely. I have no choice in anything to do with Cowboy Jim. The most beautiful woman in the world gave me the name. My father enabled me to talk. Well, he gives me every blessed word to say. I sit here and I'd like to say I look pretty. I don't look pretty at all. Well, we're done. You would be well advised to watch that Taxi, Abraham and or Abraham. I've watched it. I shed so many tears I couldn't stop. When I was doing the video, I couldn't stop. I would lean close, and as I was watching it, and I watched it, I think three times. I'll watch it again, and I leaned close, and And I tears going down my face in response to what I saw God doing in my heart while making that video. And I'm watching, I'm counting the tears. My left eye shed more than my right. I don't know why that is. It did. Well, I'm not real sure. I was crying so hard I could hardly tell. You're going to live till you die. Where you spend eternity is up to you. What you do with your life, it's up to you. What are you going to be remembered for? Well, you're going to be remembered for today. And you're more apt to be remembered for the worst thing you ever did than the best. So, I like this one. Whoa, I like this one. Choose ye whom you are going to serve, and serve him. This is your one life. This is your one kick at the cat. Your one chance. You're going to make it count? Are you going to honor God and love? True love is when you love someone way more than you love yourself. In love, I have 3 examples. They're benchmark. They're the standard. They're what I measure everything against. One is God. One is Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God, who took your sin, my sin, to the cross. The other benchmark that delineates for me what not love, but being in love is all about. And that's that black-haired warrior woman who I will love until my Father takes me home. And that's not going to be for some time. But the minute he decides, I will ask him the same thing I did in the back room in that church in Calgary when God said, "Are you ready to die?" And I asked, "Will you take care of my sons?" He said he would. And then he taught me sincerity. He taught me dedication. He taught me determination. For he had said, there's a young man going to walk in the back door that you just talked to. And he's bringing his 12-gauge shotgun in from the back window of the truck, and he's going to shoot you. I said, "You promised to take care of my sons?" He said, "Yes." I say this today. God, you promised to take care of the black-haired warrior woman. He says he will. She has to be willing to be taken care of. It's kind of like, doesn't matter if you love someone with your whole heart. It matters, are they willing to receive that love? Do they feel not worthy of your love? Your love's nothing. My love's nothing. Because some people have been so hurt, demeaned, used, abused, that they may well not be able to be loved by anyone. In some ways, not even God. But God can take that heart and meld it, M-E-L-D, mold, change, alter, adjust, heal. People who have been wounded, injured, abused by those useless excuses of human flesh, who abuse children. Those children grow up wounded, unable to believe that anyone could love them, unable to accept that perhaps someone could love them and would love them and does love them. Because, well, every time they've turned around, someone has declared their love and then used them, used their heart, soul, spirit, body. And when they were done, they just walked away. I don't walk away. I believe the time will come that God will allow me the privilege and the honor of holding the black-haired warrior woman's hand and kissing her lips. And doing somewhat like the last scene in the black-haired warrior woman, where warrior woman who had gone home to be with the Lord sometime before. Hey, by the way, that warrior woman's not going home to be with the Lord until God's ready, and I'm kind of hoping he takes us both at the same time, because that last scene that God and I saw together, well, I'm sure God, well, it sure wasn't my idea. And a warrior woman who had grown old, white-haired, was standing waiting for Hero as he walked through the heaven's gate. And that woman was as young and beautiful, black-haired as ever. I will never see that woman any other way. I don't care how old she gets. It's my choice. It's my love. My heart she's holding. That warrior woman sitting in a room full of people. All she wants is some acceptance. Recognition that she's alive, that she's there. Warrior woman has exercised like you have no idea. If ever once you ever see a video of that woman lifting weights, as I saw on Facebook, it ruined me. You have no idea. But that same woman, any woman who has been abused, standing in a room full of people, all she wants is to be loved. It doesn't mean in bed. Don't get me wrong, people. There's a place for bed. And God, he doesn't turn his eyes when his children who love each other enter the marriage bed. I guarantee you, he told me. I guarantee you. You be nice. I asked the Lord, he said, you've said enough. I hope I haven't said too much. He said, I haven't. I'm going to pray for you. Oh, you don't want to hear? I could care less. Oh, you better listen. God, I ask in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, your Son, my Savior, I ask you to touch the hearts of these people who are listening. Touch Warrior Woman's heart, protect her, cover and protect her. Remind her daily of how much I love her. Father, these people who are watching, could you please remind them in their hearts every day of how much you love them, how much you sacrificed in the person of Jesus Christ, who freely took all our sin that we commit to him, our sin that we own, admit to, and took it to the cross. Suffered, bled, and died. I'll always remember that thief who said, remember me when you come into your glory. And Jesus said, this day you will be with me in paradise. People, it's not the prayer, it's not the words, it's your heart. It's not my tears that make a video that is worth watching. It's not anything to do with me. It has to do with you. Is your heart ready to hear? Has God called you to this moment in time for you to hear and moreover to understand? We used to speak about this. This is the day of salvation, if you so choose. It is the day that God offers you salvation, but he offers it to you every day, and he will until the day you stop breathing. And thereafter, that's all there is. There is no hope for change. Purgatory doesn't exist. You can't have some friends buy you out of hell, because there is a price that no one could pay. Jesus Christ did on the cross, suffered, bled, and died for you and I. One of the little sayings, I'm kind of watching the clock, is choose ye now whom you are going to serve, and serve him. If you choose to believe in God, good, I do. If you choose to believe that Jesus Christ is his son, I tried to explain to that Palestinian taxi cab driver, I said, Jesus Christ is God's son. Well, that just really went over really good, just like suggesting to him that they really weren't doing a very good job of holding on to their land, and they weren't, they can't, because they're fighting against God. You don't fight against God, children. You don't have a hope in hell. You can resist the devil and he'll flee from you, but you resist God and you're lost. God says that's enough. I believe him. God bless you. Your eternal home can only be determined by you and how you and what you do in the moments after you shut this video down. And every day between then and the day you stop breathing, it's up to you. You choose. Eternal life, that means you trust in God and Jesus Christ. Hell, go for it. It's your choice. God bless. Father, touch hearts as only you can. Thank you. Thank you. Warrior woman, keep looking up. God bless.